Hi, welcome. If you're a novice, you're a beginner, shopping for an a6400, I hope this video helps. If you're an expert, I don't think you're going to get much from this video, but I hope you watch anyways. Is the a6400 a good camera for vlogging? Yes, absolutely. It has a little flippy screen so you can see yourself, which is awesome. It's not in the most convenient of places, when you put the microphone, but with the cold shoe mount relocator, it's honestly a really easy fix. It has an external mic jack, which is awesome. Not that the onboard audio is terrible. It does have onboard microphone, but the mic jack enables you to plug in better microphones for better audio. Someone can watch a video that might not look the greatest, but if it sounds good, it's okay. If the video looks great but sounds terrible, no one's gonna watch it. Audio is important, remember that. Now it does have color profiles. Color profiles definitely help with the editing, the color grading, creating a feel, the moodiness. Color profiles will give you dynamic range for you to adjust different colors and tones and moods. You want that as well. It does record in 1080 and in 4K. Admittedly, I don't use 4K. I don't even have a 4K TV, to be honest. 1080 is not broken, so I'm not gonna change it for myself yet. You can record in multiple frame rates, the standard 24 frames per second, 30, 60, 120, 60 and 120 being your slow motion, your buttery smooth. Just make sure the shutter rate matches the frame rate. Different story. It doesn't have super slow-mo like 240 up to 980, 960, whatever it is, but you don't really need that unless you're recording like bullets flying out of guns, which looks awesome. But if you're into that, you probably need a different setup completely. Now it is an APS-C camera, so it's got a crop sensor. It's got a crop factor of 1.5. Now, in the beginning, what that means is your image is going to be cropped in 1.5 times more than that of a full frame camera. If you don't have a full frame camera to compare it to, then you're not going to really care. A different way to look at it is going to be the millimeters on the lens that you buy. So a 16 millimeter lens, for example, isn't necessarily a 16 millimeter on an a6400. You get 16 millimeters, you multiply it by the crop factor, 1.5, comes out to about 24 millimeters. So summing it up, your APS-C a6400 16mm setup is the equivalent of a full frame 24mm field of view. It's confusing, yes. It kind of gets spread into a different area, which is the interchangeable lenses. You're going to want to focus on E mount lenses. Both E and EF mount are going to work on the camera just the same. E is catered more for crop sensors, where EF is catered more for full frame. One of the biggest differences, especially in the beginning, is going to be that budget. E lenses, E mount for crop sensor, are going to be a lot more budgetier, but budget friendly than EF glass. EF glass can get freaking up there, like $3,000 for a lens. I know. Now in the future, if you plan on upgrading to a full frame camera, it's not a bad idea to buy full frame lenses. The crop sensor lenses, even though they fit on the full frame, will have to be punched in. I think it's like Super 35 on the A7 III, for example. But you'll be doing yourself a lot of favors, honestly. If you don't plan on upgrading, why are you going to shell out the extra couple grand? Now the camera itself doesn't have IBIS. In-body image stabilization. What that means is that the camera is going to be really shaky, the footage sometimes. It's going to depend on you. Again, coming back to the glass, you can do yourself some favors. If you buy native Sony glass, it comes with OSS, which is stabilization on the lens itself. It'll do you a lot of favors. There's other things though. You can use tripods. There's not a whole lot of shaking happening. No IBIS being used, no OSS being used if it's on a tripod. Now, you can use a neck strap. You can put the neck strap around your neck, and then you can push it away from yourself to create tension, and you could be stable by like tucking your elbows in. Or you can use a gimbal. Often I find that if I handhold the camera while I'm vlogging, it's super shaky, but if I connect it to like a gorilla pod and then hold it away from myself, the weight and the way that the I don't know, physics, it's definitely not as shaky. So there's definitely things you can do to help out the situation. Not having IBIS is not the end of the world. I've compared the 6400 to the 66, and it wasn't a world of difference enough to judge, like to make up for the drastic price jump. I think at Best Buy, the a6400 is like $899 or something like that. The Sony ZV-1 is $749, which is an awesome camera, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely lower tier, mostly because it's not interchangeable lens. It's cute. I really like it, but it's definitely not an a6400. If you want a more expensive comparison, I have an a7 III, and those two kind of work hand in hand with each other. I prefer one for certain situations and the other one for other situations, but the end result out of both cameras is the same, and I'm not the only one who thinks that. Quick little YouTube search will show you that all kinds of people compare the a6400 to the a7 III, which is a full frame camera, almost 3 times as expensive. Well, maybe twice now. The a6400 is an awesome camera. It will not only get you started, but it'll carry you for a very long time. There's all kinds of cool tech coming out. There's all kinds of cool cameras. The A7 IV just dropped. You got the R line, which is for photography, and you got the S line, which is for cinematography, and all kinds of cool stuff happening. But the A64 camera is still an awesome camera. If you're gonna buy it, I support you. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. I'll be happy to try to answer them. I hope I helped in this video. If I didn't, stay tuned. My next video is gonna be about